Hi everyone, welcome you all. So previously we have learned how to connect MySQL with Python so that we can send data from Python to MySQL and retrieve the data from MySQL to Python. Now question arises why we need to connect this, though we can simply store data in form of files. This will save us from installing MySQL and all these nonsense, whatever you can say, why we need to write to connect this string, and then we need to check the connection and then create a cursor, then only we can retrieve or insert the data. So this is a little bit awkward situation when we can simply store this line within two lines of a code. We need not to import MySQL connector, we need not to install MySQL software, and then we need not to fire the insert query. Then also we prefer databases rather than the flat files. The answer is because we need to write a simple piece of a code every time for each and every entity which we are going to store. Right? For example, we have to write that two piece of a code to store values, just like for a student, and then we have to write a code to insert, delete, update, for employees as well, for bank transactions. Possibilities are infinite and situations are infinite. We need to store plenty and a mammoth amount of data, and we have to write repetitive code for each and every object, and that is really very difficult to maintain and update the code. For instance, suppose we are storing these three information about the student. Let's say we have a roll number, name, and let's say class. Now, what if I want to store one more information? So, when I have written a manual code in a file, I have to write a code to update it, or modify the code to update it, modify the code how it can be inserted, modify code how to select it, and how to view that data to a student or a viewer, right? So I have to keep many things in my mind, and it is really almost impractical to update code for each and every modification we are doing it. But when we compare flight file system with the MySQL system, what we can do, we can simply fire a alter table add command to add a simple column and just write a single piece of a code here to manipulate. For example, let's say I'm going to have a section here, so let's write a simple command. So here we go. I can simply update it right like this, and rest of the data is almost unaffected. For let us take another example. I do not want this class. Now what command I need to fire? I simply need to fire a delete statement. But in as compared to file in file systems, we have to write manual code, so really it is very tedious and almost impractical. That's why everybody uses a MySQL or some sort of a database to store data, because it provides you a consistent way over the applications. For example, if you want to insert data from the Python, you just need to fire the SQL query, or if you are using a Java, then also you need to simply use the execute method there also and execute the same SQL query. So it gives you uniform way of accessing database, as well as much more standardized, much more manageable way of doing it. Now, before moving to our today's task, one thing I want to tell you is, if you are using MySQL 8.0 or later, what you need to do, you need to go to the settings, and for the in the interpreter option, you have to add MySQL connector dash Python 8.0.21 version of the connector. Okay, old version will not work. For example, if I show you for lower version MySQL or in Windows 7, if you are working in MySQL 7.0 or 7 point something, then this is the option or this is the pick for your connector. And if you are working in Windows 10 and you have latest version, that is MySQL 8 point something, then this is a pick for you. Okay, so you need to install it. Before you install this, you need to uninstall any of the other MySQL connector you have installed, right? And restart the window, then only it will work, right? So that's one thing I want to tell you. And let's come to our main task of the day. Okay, though video is going to be a little bit lengthy, I'm going to split it into some parts. So let's write some piece of a code and first discuss what we are going to do. We are going to create a simple application to insert, delete and update records which we have stored in MySQL. So what I have in MySQL is, now you can see my GUI version for MySQL, that is MySQL Workbench. It is available in MySQL 8.0 and it is also available for what you can say in lower version as well, but you have to install it separately, right? So that's what we have here. And let's have a simple query. So I'm going to use a db1 is what my database is. So if you execute it, you can see use command has been executed. Let's say show tables and execute this piece of a command as well. There is a code MySQL error show. I don't know what went wrong. Okay, I need to select the command and then execute this. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a simple command, select asterisk from student. Let's have a semicolon there and try to execute this piece of a code, and you can check out my result is here. So it's a GUI interface for SQL. What my application will do is first have a menu which will give you options for inserting, updating and viewing the data, right? So let us write a simple piece of our code. Let's move to my SQL. So this was the simple thing what we have done till now. This was the command to insert a row. Let's write the function. What I'm going to do, I'm going to write the function, let's say def insert data, let's say, and we are going to pass values. That's a roll number, name, and what else is class. So as class is the three variables which I need, and I'm just going to formulate a query, right? So here this is my first value which is a roll number, and then we have a string in one. Let's write a query, and then I have a class that's integer. Okay, and then let's write format and specify the three parameters. Okay, I'm going to do that. So first is roll number, then we have a name, and then we have a s class. Okay, and what I need to do is I need to simply call this function now, right? So what I'm going to do is I will be writing a menu while let's say it's true. Let's make a menu print let's say asterisk multiply by 10. That's perfectly fine. And then print menu, then let's print, let's copy the previous command and paste it. That's fine. And then we are writing the option one, let's say insert Similarly, print 2, let's say update, print 3, search, and print 4, let's say display all. That's what I have in the menu, and the final one is 5 or exit. 5 for exit. So this will be my menu choice, and if let's take our input ch is equals to let's have an input, enter your choice, let's write like that. Wait a minute. Okay, and if ch is equals to 1, that means you want to insert. So let us insert. We can simply have values. We have a role is equals to id dot id input, enter roll number, and then we need to insert a name. Name is equals to input the student name, and then finally we have the last value. I have last one value, that is class. So cl is equals to int, let's say input into the class, let's say class. That's fine, and then we need to pass this data to our function. Okay, data, we are going to specify a roll number, name, comma class. Okay, so hope you understood. This code is really straightforward, and finally we are going to say data inserted here, print record inserted successfully. Okay, so it is really straightforward. We are going to take input and then pass these value to the function called insert, and we can simply have the message if record is successfully inserted. And let us write else if else statement for break. Okay, so this will break your for loop or while loop. And so we have written code to insert, and for update also we can write the query, and for search also, and for display also we can write the query. In this video I'm going to cover this much only, and let's test it out. So let's run this program and check it out whether this works for me or not. So here it is executing. You can see menu choice. You can make more beautiful. I don't want to make this video more lengthy. So let's have data. I'm going to enter 50 this time, and let's enter name. Name is, let's say, Anuj, and then we have a class that is, let's say, 1. Okay, let's press enter, and now you can see a record inserted successfully. Let's execute this piece of a query again here so that we can check out. Now you can see we have only 4 rows. Let's execute this piece of a query, and you can see one record which we have inserted from Python is displayed in my query as well. You can check it out, right? So in this way we can do it. Now there is a problem. There is one problem. If I specify insert and I specify roll number 1, no matter now the name is different, let's say Umesh, and let's say class 12. So now you can see roll number 1 is a primary key, and we have a different name Umesh and 12. Let's jump to. So 1 is already existing in my table, and if you remember, this was a primary key, right? So let's try to hit enter, and you can check out what error I'm getting. So duplicate entry 1 for key student primary key. Now the homework is you have to tackle this problem. All right, hope you will do it. In next video we will discuss this, how we can do it, right? So goodbye for now, bye bye, and see you again.